Okay, there we go. Hey. There we go. Hey, Steven. Hey, Gardis. No Tiffany tonight. I can't stomach it tonight. Hey, y'all. Hey. Okay, so I wanted to just jump on here tonight because it was my obligation. Because it was a story I wanted to cover about a Detroit mother. And I hope y'all can hear me okay. It's about a Detroit mother that, unfortunately, you guys, two of her children froze to death. Yeah. And I wanted to cover this story yesterday, but I couldn't because so much was going on with Dolton. And I hate that things have to segue with me regarding Dolton, but they do because unfortunately I'm around there, right? Um, People were talking about, oh, the woe is me and things are bad and not making fun of people when they're going through mental health issues and don't talk about people with at their lowest. And I thought this was a good time to talk about when people are at their lowest. And this is from this Detroit mother. Now we're going to talk about it plain and free because I want to hear your ideas because I did have ideas for this mother. Like, how could she let this happen? We're going to hear from the mother and we're going to hear from the father and we're going to hear from cousins. So it made me think about how people, hey, let me say hello, everybody. Stephen, Gardis, Cynthia, everybody in the chat. It made me think about how people judge people. Okay. And how scared this woman was to be judged. That's my thoughts. I don't know if that was the case. I do not know her history. We're going to talk about it together. And I only reference Dolton because a lot of my people here, they're from Dolton. I pause because I always think about what I want to say. They make fun of everybody. If you got the wrong purse, you got the wrong shoe, you got the wrong hairstyle, they make fun of you. So that will make people clam up and not ask for help. In Dolton and Thornton Township, they took away the food boxes for people that need them. I never needed a food box. When I did get a food box, I gave it to, shout out to Mama Hill. Mama Hill told me the family that really needed it, and we passed it on. I just want to talk about this story, and I will be emotional on this. I will be emotional on this one because we went to dinner and we ended up talking about this story because we had men and women at this dinner, and we all had different perspectives on who was right and who was wrong. But at the end of our conversation, we all came back and said, people judge people too much. They really do. They really do. So let's start with the first story. I love you guys. Let's start. I'm going to start backwards. Let's start with what's going on now. So, a mother in Detroit. It's a lot of weird things going on in Detroit. I've never been to Detroit, but a lot of things with kids are going on. So, mother in Detroit, she was homeless. She looks way younger than me, like probably 30. I'm gonna give her 30 years old. She has 4 children and she had a van. And her 4 children, her mother, and her grandmother went to sleep in a casino parking lot. Okay. And 2 of the children froze to death. One baby was an infant. One was like 9 years old. They froze to death because her car ran out of gas. She called the city and asked for help. They said they couldn't help her. She called her baby daddy, who fathered 3 of the children. He said he couldn't help her. I'm wondering how the mother, the grandmother, and the daughter, where's the family? Now the family, all of a sudden, now they got everything to say in front of the news. This is a story about how you have to have compassion for people. How people may have things that are not physical, and I'm not blaming this on this young lady, but you may have issues that are not physical that could harm you, be mental. You can't work every day. You're mentally messed up. Things of that nature. Sorry, guys. Find my phone. It's somewhere around here. I'm sorry. It's thinking. Let's start with this first report. We have to stop judging people. We have to stop judging people. Let's go here. Sorry, guys. Let me start from here. We're going to start from the most recent and we're going to go back. It's only been 2 days ago. 2 children froze. Can you imagine freezing to death? Freezing to death.
Now to an update on the story involving 2 children who died while living inside of their van with their mother and 2 other siblings. It happened on Monday afternoon, and we've learned that the mother previously tried to get shelter in the city, but she was not able to.
And now the city is re-examining its process for getting residents help. Gino Vici joins us from Hollywood Casino at Greektown with more on what can be done.
Yes, certainly lots of questions in light of this unfortunate tragedy involving 2 young children dying from what police say was exposure to hypothermia. I spoke to city officials who say having available resources in the city is not the issue. However, making sure they can connect those resources to those who need it will be the focus moving forward. I'm also told there's a lot going on behind the scenes to make sure that process is being improved and something like this never happens again.
We understand there are many questions.
The deputy mayor's office says it's currently working diligently to support the family of 9-year-old Darnell Curry and 2-year-old Amelia Curry after both children died on Monday. Police say the 2 children were living in a van with their mother and 2 other siblings and parked inside the Hollywood Casino parking garage when their mother noticed they were unresponsive. Police say Darnell and Amelia were rushed to a nearby hospital where they were pronounced dead. And in light of their unfortunate deaths, the city, during a news conference on Tuesday, announced Deputy Mayor Malia Howard and Head of Housing Julia Snyder will spend the next 2 weeks examining the city's ability to connect resources they say are available to those who need it.
The full strength of the administration is behind this effort, and my complete attention will be on nothing but this.
For example, the city says calls coming in involving children should now warrant an in-person meeting and escalating the request to get them shelter. It was also revealed the mother of the 2 children tried to get help several months ago but was unable to. Howard, during a video news release, says there is a lot of effort behind improving this process so a tragedy like this never happens again.
Both the 14-day administrative review and the DPD investigation are still ongoing.
In Detroit, Gino Vici, CBS News, Detroit.
Okay, so I want to say this. The fact she parked in an indoor parking lot was a little smarter. Just bear with me. Instead of her parking on the street, she had security. She was indoor, even though, an indoor parking lot is still prone to air and all of that. Let's go to what the mother says. It's going to be a lot. Let me just say, this is going to be a heavy thing for you. I'm glad that she did, because they started criminal investigation on the mother. They were taking the mother to jail. I don't know how I feel about this, guys. It'll take me probably days to even think about it. I think it's about community and family, first off. If she had nowhere to go and she had I think she had 4 or 5 children. We'll hear from her. She had all these children. People like, we don't want all these kids in our house. And it was bad off. I think it's bad. She was looking for help. And the county turned her away. The warming stations were not available. They had beds at the what do you guys call it? They had beds at the homeless shelter, but not, it's like they had to separate. She didn't know what to do. Let's hear from her, and we're going to hear from the dad too, because this is a criminal investigation. But now they did see that she went to like public aid, she went to the city, she asked for help, and that just makes me think about Thornton. Like, it's probably Thornton Township. People lights are cut off. People cannot get help with this and that. 2 chickens every Wednesday, or 1 chicken every Wednesday, could change people's life that cannot afford food stamps, but probably can get help from the township. They're just in between. I just want people to have a little compassion when it comes to people that may need help. Let's go to this.
Everybody who know me know I worship the ground them kids walk though.
The 29-year-old mother of the 2 kids that likely froze to death Monday in the parking structure of the Hollywood casino.
Maybe I asked the wrong people for help. But that was the only thing I did wrong.
Tatiana, remembering how many times she reached out for a place to live, she asked the father of the 2 kids that died.
He had an excuse every time. Either he's working, they can't come where he's living. He lived with a female, and the parents and them don't want kids there or something.
She also asked the city of Detroit for help.
I reached out in November. I reached out before that. I've been on the CAM list for a long time. And every time I called and asked if they have a bed, they said they don't have family beds.
So the 7 of them had been sleeping in their 2002 Town and Country van since November. But the kids...
Now, I want to say they said the 7 of them. She brought the 4 kids, her, the grandmother, and mother. I am confused on why the grandmother and mother wasn't taken care of as well. This is interesting.
Had everything else.
They ate every day, all day. Goodies, food. They didn't want for nothing. Every day they went to school. I had one mistake.
And the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of gas?
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then when you woke...
Only night I fell asleep. I usually be...
So she was homeless too. So her daughter is 29. She's 49. Let's let it play.
Whoa.
And when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't moving.
A GoFundMe account has been set up to help the family.
That's one of the reasons we did set the GoFundMe up, so she will be able to have housing for herself and the children, her other remaining children.
We'll put a link to the GoFundMe account on our website, fox2detroit.com.
And you know what? Let's go to this part. It's so bad because she's gonna forever be judged on this, and now she gets a GoFundMe. But I can't judge her because if she would have made a GoFundMe and said, "Help me and my 4 kids get a house," people would have clowned her. Let's listen. Let's listen. Because why she now here's her cousin, I think, and we all jumping on her. Why she couldn't stay with her? I don't know her living conditions, but let's hear.
My cousin made a mistake, and look at how the world is judging her.
The cousin of the mother who took her 5 children and their grandmother to the 9th parking lot level of the Hollywood Casino early Monday morning. And when the gas ran out of their car, so did the heat. And 2 of her kids, a 9-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl, froze to death.
She asked for help. She asked the right people. She was scared of what the world would think of her, so she did privately the right thing. She asked the city, and what they do, they told her they couldn't help her.
And the mayor acknowledged that because of this incident, he is asking the deputy mayor, as well as the housing director, to review this situation and then come back with policies to help those who need housing.
If during the day you are in danger of homelessness, you call the hotline. It's spelled in well-publicized 866-313-2520. But if it's after 6 o'clock at night and an incident's happened, you've been pushed out of the house, you're in an emergency situation, go to your police precinct.
It's sad. Let's hear from the dad because we're going to do 2 lives tonight. But I wanted to cover this because this was important. This was important.
Right now,
y'all just think about what's happening in Thornton Township for a second. Let's just think about it for a second. We're in Thornton Township, and y'all took away the lights, the gas, like the assistance, they took away ice cream from the seniors lunches. One thing could change someone's life. Like, it's someone sitting out here probably listening to my voice that if they don't get their food stamps next month, or they don't get their paycheck steadily next month, they're going to be in a world of trouble. We have to stop judging people. Now let's hear from the dad. And I tried to have open ears with this, so I hope some fathers in the chat could tell me what they feel, because I could be biased as a woman who had to I did not marry my child's father, so I have a whole different perspective, and I'm listening like, why you didn't help, so I'm hoping some fathers in the chat as well that can give us a perspective on what they think. Let's listen.
Now we're going to turn to our other big story of the night. A father speaking to us tonight after learning 2 of his kids died from exposure to the cold in a casino parking lot.
Yesterday, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham spoke to the mother of those 2 kids about the tragic situation.
Yesterday, I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving. And I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please.
Well, tonight, Darren is getting the father's side of this story, hearing about the moment he learned 2 of his children had passed away.
Darnell Curry Sr. wiped away tears while talking with me about his children, Darnell Jr. and Amelia, and the distressing phone call he says he took from their mother, Tatiana Williams, on Monday.
I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? They gone. I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't.
According to Detroit police, 9-year-old Darnell Jr. and 2-year-old Amelia died while sleeping in a vehicle at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking garage. Investigators say the cause appears to be hypothermia, a tragedy stemming from homelessness.
I tried. I asked for help. I asked everybody, even people out of state. But I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. People just didn't like too many kids at their house.
I spoke with the children's mother Tuesday evening. She told me she's been living in her vehicle for 3 months, along with her 4 kids, her mother, and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
That's what I saw, about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never specified why she wanted to drop their kids off to him.
She just asked, can I get them for a couple of days? But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not. And she knows she could have, like we always used to do.
He says the last time he held his children was a month or 2 ago, and that they typically FaceTime, moments he will miss. And there's a, police investigation into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
It doesn't even matter to me. Can't get them back, so it's whatever.
Darren Cunningham, 7 News Detroit.
Wait, the baby was 2 months old? He said 9-year-olds and hold on, I gotta rewind.
Into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
It doesn't even matter to me. Can't get them back, so
that's not
whatever.
that's not and you know what's so weird? These old pictures. That's not a 9-year-old and that's not a 2-year-old. And when he was hugging whoever right here, his hair is way more shorter. His hair is way shorter. So that's the burgundy in me, just doing that. Where was y'all hunching? Your house, her house. How you didn't know your kids were homeless? That's me. But then I'm also looking at her saying, okay, I'm trying to think of 20. I can't think of 29-year-old Burgundy because I was a beast. No playing. But I could think of, I had my son relatively young. I had my baby super young. I could think being in high school, being scared, and being pregnant. Okay, I can be honest with you guys there. And I could think in my head, the only person I could go is one person, whoever got me pregnant, mama, right? And then other than that, I wasn't calling his aunties and cousins and all that and saying, hey, we homeless. Not that we were, but I mean, I'm thinking in this young lady's shoes. You call the father. And he said, well, you just called me to get them. Just get them. 3 kids, get them. Check on their well-being. But I could be judgmental, so I'm trying not to do that. But they froze to death. So at night, I will give credit to this. It wouldn't be every day, but I don't think even if I wasn't together with my son's father, it would be months before he'll say, hey, how's the child doing? He would still check. It wouldn't be a week. And we were kids. So this is very interesting that these kids, now let's not forget her mother, who was 49 years old, and then the mother's mother were also sleeping in the van. How did this happen? 3 people are sleeping in a van. A 1992 Town and Country. And they ran out of gas. Out of the 3 of them, they didn't have enough money for gas. They didn't even put in body heat one-on-one to each other. And the children froze to death. They have a criminal investigation going on. Who do we blame? Trey said dad and mom may need to see some jail time. Planned Parenthood want to do some good. Oh, Lord. Yeah, there's more to this story. Oh, yeah, they put the migrants in hotels. They do. He's not honest. He didn't take care of his kids. I would have just dropped it. This 3 children by this woman. 3. Okay. From 9 to a little baby. They got some history. So, have you guys ever dated somebody on and off or known somebody? It's not even a romantic style. Have you ever known somebody and been like, I know how they move, how they operate. If I don't hear from them right here, if I don't see them right here. This is 9 years. He has a 9-year-old, 3 children with this woman. Nobody said, Daddy, we can't shower. We're sleeping in she said, I kept a room for as long as I could keep a room, and I couldn't keep a room anymore. Them living in a hotel is a problem, at least. And I'm not putting it all on him. But even the mother and the grandmother, them having to shower, do a day-to-day, them keeping a room with 4, that's a lot. Why did the mother and the grandmother not have a place to stay? You know what I mean? Even if the mother was in a bad way, it is kind of, that's where I would go. Run to my parents, run to somebody. Let's take another look. Maybe we're misunderstanding. Let's take one more look.
Children who likely died from hypothermia in a car is speaking out tonight. Her 9-year-old son and 2-year-old daughter were found unresponsive after spending the night in the Hollywood Casino parking garage.
Over the past 24 hours, questions have been raised about why the family didn't get help. During a press conference today, Mayor Mike Duggan revealed that family called the city in November, but nothing was done.
For whatever reason, this wasn't deemed an emergency that caused an outreach worker to visit the family.
Tonight, I sat down with that mother. She is 29-year-old Tatiana Williams. She told me she and her 4 children had been living in their van for the past 3 months.
They said it was carbon monoxide. Or I don't know what it is. There's so many stories going around. I haven't even got the right story for my own kids. But one thing I do know is they could never be cold in their car, because I keep gas in their car. I do what I got to do to keep them kids with heat. So it's not hypothermia. My kids could have never froze to death. But I called everybody. I called out of state. I called different cities. I called Detroit. I got on a cam list. I've been on a cam list for a long time. Nobody. Every time I call, they say there's no shelter, no bed. I thought I was doing the right thing. I tried to keep them warm at night. That's it. I was just trying to keep them warm. Nobody helped me. It took me to lose 2 of my kids to get this help. I don't feel good about it.
If you ever find yourself without shelter, there are resources for you. Just scan the QR code on your screen to be taken to clickondetroit.com. We've posted those resources there. Also, everything we've learned so far about this horrible case.
Carefree. Thank you for sharing. You didn't have to do that. Carefree said, I lived in a hotel for 2 years with my baby mama and struggled badly in the 2000s. You know what, Carefree? I feel like people was built different back then. Do y'all feel like that? Like 70s, 80s babies? Do you feel like people were built different back then? Us that was born in the 70s, we went through what we had to do. It's criminal charges. Wyoming, I love you. Thank you so much. We're going to come right back because Wyoming, we're going to talk about this. But I wanted to put this on our channel so we can follow up with this. Not only are we following up with the Naziah Harris case, we're also following up with another Detroit case, and now we're following up with this case. What is Detroit offering? Now, I'm so sad this young lady children had to be the brunt to freeze to death. It's scary. 2. That means they all were super cold. 2 of them, hypothermia had to be it. She said it's not, but okay. The mother, let me not lead y'all off. The mother and the grandmother were in the car too. Remember that. Her mother and her grandmother was in the car too. I'm a grandmother. It's no way. But when you don't have any hope, any help, how did they get here? So you mean between the only reason I'm explaining the mother and the grandmother, you mean no one said anything? No one was checking on the mother? No one was checking on their grandmother because she had siblings and cousins and all that stuff, right? Nobody was checking on the children. So the dad's side of the family nobody was caring about this woman. We're going to have to figure it out. I've never wanted an interview in my life with anyone. Even being here in Dolton, I've never wanted to interview Tiffany, Jason. I've never wanted to interview the DRE. I've never wanted to interview Kanye West. I've never wanted to interview Kendrick Lamar. I'll tell you one interview I would want. This young lady's. Because it would show what was the shame in asking for help. At 29 years old, how did you get here? 4 children. Now you're here, and now you're sleeping and you waking your children up for school, and they're frozen to death. This could be a tale just for people to be able to see. It's people out here really hurting. $15 wasn't gonna help her, y'all. So when people say I was gonna give you $15, don't worry about it. That wasn't gonna help her. But now the city of Detroit is on high alert. All of a sudden, y'all, they were like, oh, it was 2 beds available, but they were trying to separate the families. Because remember, she had boy children and girl children. So it's a woman and children's shelter, right? But then she couldn't bring the grandmother and mother. So I guess she was trying to keep them all together. It's really weird. I would love to talk to her. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here. We're going to come right back on the live because we're going to talk a little bit of Dolton. But I want to make sure you knew about this story. Make sure, as we always do, prayers for those involved. I was not there. I do not know their story. Prayers for those involved. All right, you guys. As always. Oh, Keefis is right. Wait, the school for kids. That's what I was saying. They couldn't shower. But they could probably wash up in the bathroom really, really good. It depends on what kind of mothering she was doing. Like she said, they ate every day. We saw a picture of the kids' house. Hair was plaited and looking good. She could have said, hey, we're at the casino. And, casinos are 21 and up. But here in Indiana, if you go to the restaurant part of the casino, it's not the gambling part. So they will let kids in. Maybe they could have washed up in the bathroom. I don't know. I knew people that I lived in LA, big homeless situation. I knew people that came to LA for stardom, and you would never know they were homeless. I don't know. But that's the same thing we've been saying about Naziah Harris, Keefis. Everybody failed her. So we could say the same thing about this young lady. Detroit failed her. The community failed her. Her family failed her. Her baby daddy failed her. She kind of failed herself because she gave up. And I'm not coming down on her. Sometimes you just need that little, man, I could have did that. She could never get those babies back. So now the city of Detroit, guess what they said, Keefis? That's what they said. We're going to pay for the funeral. So now y'all going to pay for the funeral and bring the funeral chicken, but she was looking for a place to be warm. Okay. All right. All right. Love you, Chavis. All right, you guys. We're out. Just make sure you pass this story along, and I love you guys. Sorry, guys. This story got me shook. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Commentary blue. Commentary. Burgundy. Commentary. Comment blue. Commentary. Comment Burgundy blue.